Okay, this is CAD Methods Lab 2.2, Part 2, Project 8-3, and it's on page 343 in your book. Okay, so you're supposed to draw this wall section here, and it starts on the previous page, and it says create all these layers, set this units to architectural with a 16-inch precision, and set the angular units to degrees, minutes, and seconds, so it'll be 0D, 00 feet, 00 inches, or degrees and minutes and seconds. So now I've already done that. So you should know how to make layers by now. It's up here in your layers. And let me make that a little bigger. Here in your layers properties, create the layers, set the colors, the line weights, the line types, and the color. And then give them all the proper name. So I've done that. And I'm now ready to draw this. So I'm going to start off first. I've zoomed out quite a bit, and I started off by drawing this little 12 by 6 because it tells me I got it's 12 long with a 6-inch drop. So that's the slope. Okay, it's 12/6. Now I need to draw that. So all I'm going to do is draw it from endpoint to endpoint, and I've got my slope. Now that's not a very big roof, and I'm going to need to use that little piece later. All I'm going to do is come down here and draw a straight line and say extend, enter, and offset that so that it's longer. And you might want to do the same thing over here. Extend, enter, and I now have the top portion of my roof. Now you're going to have to read what is it that we're putting on this roof, and I'd like you to try to draw it to scale. So it tells you that we're using shingles, number 235, shingles over 15-pound felt. I think that's what that says. It's kind of small right there. Half-inch standard grade, that's the slope. Plywood roof, nailed to the truss. And I'm looking for the size, so right here. There's the size of the plywood. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to offset 0.5. And we're going to make an assumption that between the shingles and the felt, maybe it'll be about a half-inch. Maybe not. Maybe at the overlap it would be. And then that we have some plywood sheathing on top of the truss that we're going to draw down here. So I'm going to offset that another half-inch. Now I'm going to show you how to draw this and this. Now you just need to look to see what it says it is. So here's a fascia, a 2x6 fascia. So those are uncut sizes. So I'm going to draw a rectangle that is at 1.5 by 5.5. So after they finishing that board, after they clean that board up, it's cut down, we only get a 1.5-inch board for a 2x. And it's 6 inches tall, and we only get 5.5 inches. So I've drawn a 1.5 by 5.5 2x6 fascia board. And I need to put that in here. So I'm just going to move that from, I'll just move it somewhere nearest. That's going to let me, nope, that's not good enough. Because if you look right here, the shingles should hang over. So I'm just going to move from that intersection to nearest up here a little bit. Nope. My mistake. Down a little bit. There. Okay, that'll work good. So now, those shingles are going to hang over a little bit. I think I'm just going to move that in so that that intersection's touching there. So to do that, I'm going to move from here to here. Okay. So I need to draw a line. Line from the nearest here to the perpendicular. So I'm going to say perpendicular. There. That'll give me a good 90-degree corner right there, and you can trim that up as you go. same right here. No one's going to finish and cut that piece of plywood at an angle so that it fits nice. So I'm going to trim that up. They're just going to set that in there. Okay, now that sort of looks like what we have right there. Need to draw a line from my intersection to my intersection, and from my intersection to intersection. That shows me that it's the end of my 2x6. Some of this you're going to have to give it a nominal size. It's not giving exact dimensions, but that's okay. We're going to simply come in here and offset this one. It tells me I've got a 2x6 roof truss right here and right here. So I'm going to do this top one first because that's going to give me my, it's going to lay things out for me to use. So I'm going to offset 5.5 because we lose a ½ inch when they finish the board. There we go. Now you can see here that it kind of comes down, and you can see here that it kind of comes down. Well, that 2x6, if you look here, there's a soffit underneath, and then there's my 2x6. So they're not giving us a exact measurement, so I'm going to draw from the nearest here over, pan out a little bit. I'm going to turn my grid off. I just think the grid gets in my way, and I'm going to offset ½ inch up. Okay, that looks good. Extend that over, and you can see I've got the beginnings of my truss. So that looks okay. Going to trim so that it looks like that. Now I know that's a little different than the book. Normally that would come down even with the truss so that this would nail directly to that, but the math doesn't work out. If I were to extend this down and check my distance, so I'm going to make an intersection there, and I'm going to make an intersection there. So if I were to check that out and check my distance from this intersection to this intersection, that's going to tell me that it's, check the Y, 6 3/16 of an inch. But I know that that 2x6 is only 5.5 inches. Now when they cut it on an angle, it will get a little bit longer, but it's not working out here. So I'm going to just trim it so that it's like that. And they'll nail that right on there. Now I'm going to offset 0.5 from here to here, and that's going to give me my soffit. Now if you look close here, you're going to see that there's the soffit is on top of the siding. Okay, so I'm simply, now they're not giving me a distance here, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a line. I'm going to offset 24 inches and say that there's a 2-foot overhang, and I'll extend that up. And I'm going to offset 0.5. That's going to be my siding, and then it's got over ½ inch OSB, so that's a piece of wood, piece of plywood, not plywood, it's a piece of OSB. It's substrate, so I'm just going to offset that another one, a ½ inch. And so here's my siding, and here's my siding, and here's my ½ inch OSB, and that's pretty good. So now, again, I've got a 2x6 top plate. So these walls are not 2x4 walls, they're 2x6s. So I think it's going to be easier if I just draw a rectangle right here and say at 5.5 by 1.5, and copy that from here to here. Zoom in a little bit, draw a line to show that it's the end of a board. And there's my 2x6 top plate. So I'm just going to take those and move them from the intersection to the intersection, put them in there. I'm going to draw a line from here down. And I'm going to leave that a little messy for right now. So now, let's see here. Kind of got a little mess going on up here. Trim this. And I'm going to leave that. Oops. I'm going to erase that because I messed up. Trim that. Bring this up. Okay, now I'm going to worry about that in a minute. And I no longer need this. And I no longer need that. So here I have the basis of all of it. Oh, and you see they've got that a 2x6 in there to support that truss. So I'm going to draw a line from here just up and from here up. There we go. Now I get rid of those. Okay, that's what the book shows. Move this. Okay, so that's how to approach this drawing. You will then go through, and I would suggest that in right here, this tool right here, the leader button, you'll go through and add your descriptions. So I'm going to put that nearest, bring that up, and I'm going to be able to type 235 shingles, hit enter. Okay, so it's a little bit too small because we didn't really set a text size. So once you're finished, you can either set your text size before you create it in your dimension style, or you just select it, come over here and look through them for, here's the arrow size. Maybe let's change, you can't see because you can't see the arrow right here. So click on that again. Come down here, you can change the arrow size, let's say to 4. That's pretty big. How about 2? That looks pretty good. And text style is standard. We didn't set up any text style, so that's fine. Height of it, let's say that that's going to be 2. And then you'll be able to read your text. And you can, since it's a leader, you can click these grips, move it around however you want to place it, and you'll have to finish typing all of this text with the leaders. Now this, you could probably just put in this 612 pitch. You could probably just put that in with a piece of M text and just place that in there, and make sure you give it a height of whatever you want it to be, whatever this is going to be. I think I said 2. Okay, put that in there, 612. And you need to put your break lines. So that's pretty easy. I like to make my break lines even. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw a line from the midpoint, and it doesn't even need to be an exact number. I'm going to move this line from the midpoint here to the midpoint here. I'm going to draw a line from this endpoint to this midpoint. Oh, that can't be. From this endpoint to, let me just do a nearest. And you could mirror it. You can do whatever you want with it. If you mirror it, though, you're going to have to do it twice. So if you mirror it, do it on that intersection. You can put it there. No, I don't want to delete it. Put it there. And I can bring it down. Yes, I'm going to delete it. So once you get it, you can trim it and create a real break line. And then you'll need to put another one down here. Whoops. So I think most people probably, if they just don't have it to insert, they're going to copy it, rotate it, 90 degrees. Now, like I said, I like to make it even so that my breakpoint is exactly in the middle. So I will trim that up. And I need to know, let me move that over so you can see it. I need to know where that middle is, and it's right there in that point. So I'm going to move this from the midpoint there to the midpoint here. Now we don't want lines over lines, so I'm going to delete that, and just going to bring this grip in, and I'm just going to bring this grip in. And I have some breakpoints. And you can go through, finish putting the text and the leaders for each one of these things. Make sure that you're putting this information on the right layers. So you created the layers, put them in there. It doesn't show that we should put any, it gives you directions. Draw the line work on this layer. Okay, so follow those directions and it should be quick and easy to get done.